MJ Enterprises was formed by two friends, Mick Boyes and Michael Atwood, when they decided there must be a better way to document motor vehicle wiring systems. Mick Boyes, on the left, is a Rolls-Royce trained electrical specialist, and Michael Atwood is a computer programmer of 30-plus years of experience and a lifelong classic car enthusiast. Mick completed his 4-year apprenticeship at the Rolls-Royce Service Centre at Hythe Road in London, spending over 2.5 years concentrating on electrical systems. He trained there alongside his friends Andrew Wood, the co-founder of the world-famous Rolls-Royce and Bentley specialists P&A Wood, and Chris Bull. Chris is now the general manager at P&A Wood. We would like to express our sincere appreciation to Andrew, Chris, and the staff at P&A Wood for their invaluable help and advice in support of our project. The problem: the vast majority of vehicle wiring diagrams are difficult to read and bear no resemblance to the way wiring and components are actually laid out. They also tend to be drawn and labelled such that a magnifying glass is a desirable accessory. Mick came up with the concept of drawing a clear, practical diagram reflecting the actual layout of the wiring and electrical components on the vehicle, as viewed from above. Michael put his skills as a programmer to work, getting the information into a form usable on a personal computer. Let's take a look at the solution we've created. Here is the screen at startup. Before you can access the main menu options, you select the right or left-hand drive version of the program. We'll select right-hand drive for now. You can toggle between right and left-hand drive versions at the main menu by using this button, and the banner at the top of the window reflects this choice on all of the screens in the program. The Overview button opens a window providing general information about the program and instructions about navigation. It is highly recommended that you read this overview prior to the first use. These buttons allow you to size the program's window according to your needs. When the program is opened, it automatically sizes to nearly fill the computer's main display monitor. But if, for example, you are running an external monitor for teaching purposes, it may have a different resolution requiring appropriate resizing. The button on the right returns the window to its default size based on the resolution of the main screen. Here we have provided space for links to advertising. Clicking on the links takes you directly to the advertiser's websites, assuming that there is an internet connection present. Let's bring up P&A Wood's site. Returning to the main menu, here are the menu selection buttons. We'll look first at the main practical or physical layout diagram to examine its navigation tools. Here we are at the practical diagram, displayed at its first level of resolution. This shows the wiring and components as if you were looking down on the vehicle with the front of the vehicle on the right. Notice that on screens which are not self-explanatory, there is a Help button available to give instruction on how to navigate the screen you're on. Thus, click OK to exit the Help screen. To move around in the diagram, you use the mouse. Position the pointer at the place on the diagram you wish to move to, and press the left mouse button once. The diagram moves to recenter on the chosen location. To recenter and also zoom in on a location, move the mouse pointer to the desired area and press the right mouse button. This again recenters on the selected location, but also cycles to the next level of magnification, indicated in this panel here. We're now at zoom level 2 of 3. Right-clicking again takes us to the maximum zoom level, and one more right-click cycles us back again to zoom level 1. Let's move to level 2 and use the quick navigation buttons. These move the drawing immediately to its edges, letting you navigate easily to a known point, like the left headlight, for example. If you need to refresh your memory on the letter codes used for the wire colors, press this button to display an alphabetical list of the codes and corresponding colors. Now we'll return to the main menu by pressing this button, which is the universal back button on all screens. Let's take a look at the system diagrams and get into the real power of this program. Here we're presented with a menu listing the electrical systems in the vehicle ordered by function. One left click on any menu item selects the item and displays a brief description on the panel on the right of the screen. For example, dampers or shock absorbers. We'll select the charging system as our first example and either double-click or press View Selection. This is the theory diagram for the charging system. Notice the component labels and the wire color codes are outlined in red. When you mouse over the individual wire color codes, the wire of that color is highlighted in red on the diagram, making it easy to see its location and route. Also, the color of the wire is shown above the wire color code list. Right-clicking one of the wire code items brings up a window describing the route of the wire. When the mouse is moved over a component label, a photograph of the component appears on the screen. Right-clicking describes the location of the component. Left-clicking a component label brings up a new screen displaying top and side views of the vehicle and showing the location of the component. A description of the location also appears in a panel at the top of the screen. Clicking this button takes you to the practical diagram, positioned such that the component in question is centered and circled in blue. Incidentally, the navigation features on the practical diagram are all available when the diagram is accessed in this mode. Returning to the theory diagram, let's click on one of the wire color code items, which brings up the views of the vehicle again, but this time showing the approximate route of the wire. Again, clicking this button takes you to the practical diagram, this time highlighting the route the wire takes and which harnesses it runs in. Back to the theory diagram again. This button comes as an optional extra, allowing you to print the theory diagrams out to the system's default printer for study or for use around the vehicle. Returning to the theory diagrams menu, let's take a look at one or two of the special features provided on some of the diagrams as an aid to understanding the functioning of the circuits. The direction indicators on the cloud interact with the stop lights and the fog lights because they use those lights as the indicators. Here's the theory diagram for the indicators, showing the relays which interact with the stop, fog and indicator circuits. Let's turn on the stop lights and the fog lights, which highlights the current flow in those circuits in blue. Notice that the current for these circuits passes through 4 relays, 2 for the fog lights and 2 for the stop lights. When an indicator circuit is switched on, in this case we'll switch on the left-hand indicator, it deactivates the stop and fog circuits on that side by cutting the current in the 2 relays in the fog and stop circuits on the left side of the vehicle. We've found this helps immensely to clarify the kind of interaction between circuits and to pinpoint testing areas to locate faults. Now back to the theory diagram menu and a look at one of the heater switching systems. Let's pick the upper system in heating mode. In the heating circuits, we're dealing with switches having several wafers, and this diagram allows you to see how the wafers connect when the switch is in each of the available positions, indicated by the blue dots on the switch graphic, like this. Notice how the wafers move to show which tabs are connected in the various switch positions. The drawing also shows the effect the switch should be having on the actuators associated with the air and water flow controls for the heating system. Again, very useful for testing and troubleshooting. Also notice that the result of the switching is described under the Actions heading, in this case near the top left of the screen. Back to the main menu. This button, used on several screens, allows a direct return to the main menu, thus. Briefly, here are the other main menu items. The harness and terminal strip locations appear mapped on the side and top view of the vehicle. Mousing over the blue label letters displays a panel showing a brief note about the harness or connection, and right-clicking the label brings up a more detailed description. Left-clicking a label takes you through to the practical diagram, which is focused on the harness label or connection point in question. Mapping by wire color can be very useful if, for example, you have located a disconnected wire and cannot be sure what it should be connected to. The Map by Wire Color menu may be viewed in wire color order or by wire color within the systems on the vehicle, thus. Let's track down the black and yellow wiring serving the cigar lighters. As you would expect, the wiring in question is highlighted in red on the practical diagram and may be followed throughout its runs by left-clicking to recenter or right-clicking to recenter and zoom in. Notice that in this case only the higher two zoom levels are used so that the labeling can be more easily read. Finally, we have provided a menu to access photographs of the electrical components. This would prove useful if a person working on the vehicle were unfamiliar with the exact appearance and precise location of all the components. For example, the choke thermal delay may not be familiar to some. Let's look at the photo and see that the component is circled in yellow. Clicking on the Describe button brings up a window further clarifying the location of the component. Back at the main menu, we click on the red button at the top right to exit the program. It should be apparent that our system design and methodologies are adaptable to a wide variety of documentation and teaching needs. We hope this demonstration has been of interest. Please contact Michael at the email address shown on the screen if you would like to discuss our system or for more information. Thank you.